Hi, welcome to my channel. This technique and this way of manifesting, shifting into your timeline, for me has been the only way that has guaranteed results exactly as I've wanted them, that there's been no deviation from what I've wanted. And also it appears to me, and I'm going to talk about a client, how we did this just before I went on holiday. I did this with her and what happened with her. And every time I've done this, I have shifted into that timeline seamlessly, really fast. It hasn't mattered about assumptions. It hasn't mattered even about a limiting belief. In one particular case, which was a few weeks ago, I had a real limiting belief there. It didn't matter. I manifested it anyway. So maybe we'll drop the word manifesting. I shifted into that timeline anyway, really fast. I didn't have any expectation of it, but I could feel it. I could feel that timeline. When I get to sort of mid part of this video, I'll try and, I think I'll probably put some timestamps here. I'm going to go through the exact technique, the exact way that I do it, what to expect from it. And also then I want to go into why I believe that this obliterates all limits. Whatever those limits are, you can manifest doing this. Okay, client came to me, new client. She knows I'm talking about this. She's perfectly okay with it. And was in no contact with her guy for 6 months, instigated by her, hoping to give him a shove in the right direction, let him know that how he was being wasn't good enough. And the only way she thought she could do that was by cutting contact. She had read no contact works. No contact works depending on what frame of mind you're in, depending on what your mindset is. But if you're then trying to get something from that, and waiting for it, it doesn't. It's just the same as anything else. There's no one thing that works. It all depends on your mindset. So she had got to the point where she had been manifesting this for 6 months. She had reached out to him because she'd regretted it after a few weeks, but nothing back. Did it again a few weeks later, nothing back. And then the unthinkable happened. He started to see somebody else. And they've been together a couple of years. Not him and this new person, but him and my client. So he started to see somebody else. So not only was she not getting what she wanted, she was not getting contact, she was seeing an opposite reality unfold for her based on all of those things that she was piling into her subconscious on a daily basis. Like, I want this, but I feel this. But what about this? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? All of that is being mixed together in a potion by reality. It's not, but you know what I mean? And then it's coming up with shades of grey and blacks and whites based on that. But I'm just going to tell you that she did this, and then I was on holiday and I didn't see my emails on holiday because I don't read my emails when I'm away. When I got back, I had an email from her, and I'd only been on my holiday a couple of days when this email had come in. So it was only just over a week where she got this contact. She got contact from no contact. She got contact from the point that he was seeing someone else at this time. And then when she did get contact, she discovered that he had been broken up with this girl for 2 weeks, but she hadn't known that before. And she said, I'm surprised that I didn't know it because I do look at his social media stuff and I didn't twig that at all. So that had happened. So I'm going to go through the technique with you. And this is exactly what she did. She did it without any hesitation. She did it like, I'm at the end of my tether, I'm going to try this and then whatever. She was in that frame of mind. That is a good frame of mind to be in, but you don't need to be in that. I don't need to be in that to do this. I'm getting much better at doing this with kind of other things other than the big things. The big things I can do this so easy with because I don't want to accept the alternative. So I can do it. And the smaller things, I'm like, well, you know, I could accept the alternative. So it's been a while to get me into the right mindset with that, but I'm getting better because I'm doing this all of the time now. It's my thing. I'm practicing it so that I can do it with the smaller things, the medium-sized things, and the bigger things, like I said, not a problem. So now don't be scared of this first part. You need to do it so you can tell the difference. At the moment, you will have a certain feeling state. You will have a feeling state, and think of that feeling state as your reality. Your timeline is, on that particular subject, that feeling state. Okay, so that's the timeline you're in because you're feeling it, and that's it. And that's your vibration, that's your frequency. So you have to sit there for a couple of minutes and feel it, so you can notice it, and then you will notice the shift. But if you don't notice how you're feeling now, you're not really going to notice the shift. So you need to just sit there with it and go, okay, I feel that, I get it, I understand it. That's why I'm here, because that's what I'm vibrating. That's my vibe, that's my frequency. Then get really clear on what you want. What do you want? In this moment, if you could wave a magic wand, what would it be? Get that in your head, think about that, this is how I do it. So I will see in my mind a timeline here, I'll feel it, a timeline here, which is the one I'm in, and a timeline here, which is the one I want to be in. And obviously there are infinite timelines, but I'm choosing. So at the moment I'm A and I want to be B. So I can't keep feeling A because I can't get to B if I'm feeling A, because A is the vibration, A is the frequency, have to be at B. So how do I do that? I feel myself internally shifting myself to B, to that timeline that I want. I'm feeling myself, like feeling the vibration of it, just feeling the force of that is what I want. You can do this purely by going, that is what I want. I'm really feeling the want for it. That's it. That's it. It's not, don't get overcomplicate it. It isn't complicated. It's whatever it feels to you. And then you feel that and you think, I've selected that timeline now. From the quantum field of possibilities, that is my choice. I've made it. Okay, so I've made it. So I want to stay here. But that doesn't mean I have to hold this feeling all day long, every day. It doesn't mean that at all. What it does mean is I can't keep going back to the old timeline, because then I'll hold myself in it. I'm going to drop into it. It's natural. I do that as well. That's completely natural, but I can't stay there, because you want to tip the balance of at least 60-40. So 60% you are feeling, no, this is what I want, and being really forceful with yourself, which is what she did. Was very forceful with herself, she said. She said she felt herself slip back loads of times, but she wouldn't allow herself to stay there. She got really indignant with herself and said, no, you cannot do this. Pull back. This is what I want. A week and a half later, she gets contact. They're still in contact now. They're just talking about things and they haven't met up yet or anything. But that's all she wanted. He's not with the third party. She didn't have to even look at that. And she did say that to me at the time. I'm going to make that irrelevant by just not considering it. So yeah, don't confuse anything here. What do you want? What is your ultimate goal? That's all you need to focus on. That's all you need to bring your attention to. That's all you need to vibrate, is what you want. Not all the little bits in between, but how will this happen and how will that happen? How will this end? How will that end? That's not your business. That's not your problem. All of that will sort itself out seamlessly with no intervention from you. And actually your intervention will just make it worse. So just what you want, that is your timeline. Feel that. Feel the timeline. Feel it. Feel the vibration. So practice that, doing it. So feel what you are now, and don't be scared of that, because you're there anyway. It's not going to make it any worse. And then feel what you want, and then see that difference and feel yourself being forced into that timeline. Right, now I'm going to talk about why I think this overrides everything, because it's dominant. It's very powerful, it's very strong. So you may have a limit, you know, a limiting belief, you may have assumptions, you may have other stuff going on, circumstances that you've been concerned about, but that is so powerful that it is like, it skyrockets the good to like 90%. So the other stuff is like 10%, so it's insignificant where this is concerned, where shifting is concerned. That's my take on it. It's the only thing I can come up with, because it feels really powerful and I'm going, yeah, that's what I want. And then I have found that when I get that and I've shifted, that I change according to that. So my thoughts and feelings start to change according to the fact that I've shifted. So actually, you know, the only way you go back is if you allow yourself to start dwelling in the old. And when you know that this works, you do stop doing that. I mean, I just don't do that anymore. I don't even dwell in the past at all. I don't think about the past. I know the past has happened, and, you know, sometimes things pop into my head from the past, but I never sit there and start dwelling on it or thinking about it too much, even the good stuff. I just don't. It's not something I do because I don't want to live in the past. I want to live in the present moment as much as possible. I do go to the future more than I go to the past, that's for sure. But I don't think that's a problem, because that keeps me focused on where I want to be and how, you know, it keeps me kind of optimistic and hopeful and all that. So I don't worry about that, but I don't want to live in the past, in any element of the past, really. I just don't. Okay, so it's about that momentum. So when you are when you've done that and you've use this technique, you're so dominant on what it is that you want that, again, I think, to me, it feels like the rest of the stuff becomes insignificant because it is nowhere near as powerful. And as you know, we manifest from our dominant state. And normally, if you're disappointed all of the time or frustrated, you're manifesting from that point. Well, you still get some of the other good feelings in with that, but you don't seem to manifest that. But that's because that's not dominant. So you're just doing a switch around. All you're doing is they're making the good stuff like the bad stuff, really. It's taking over. So the stuff that you're manifesting that's negative, that you don't want, and you're not really seeing the good stuff, even though you are feeling good sometimes when you're manifesting, it is because of the dominance. So you just switch it around. So the dominance then becomes what you do want, and the other stuff becomes insignificant, and that's the stuff that doesn't manifest. Right, I hope that this was helpful to you. And we, like that client, we were going to have a few sessions. We've only needed to have one session now because that's all she wanted. And like with her, like she's saying, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to select, and that's what I'm going to do because that is easier than anything else I've been doing. So that's with me, it's all about ease. I do like robotic affirmations still. I haven't been using them anywhere as much as I was at the beginning. I am a very obsessive person, so when I get into something I get so hugely into it, but I don't think that was a bad thing because I did loads of experimenting with it, and that's all on my members area. And you can see timelines and points where things happened. I did all of that, and that was fun, and I still use them. When I think about it, I think, oh, I'm going to use some robotic affirmations for 10 minutes, but I don't do it every day, and I've kind of like waned off with that. But I always do this, and I always do this as a matter of course with bigger things, but now I've started doing it with everything. So and that's going to be an interesting experiment too, because I'm feeling it now with the smaller things. I'm able to get that feeling of momentum, whereas I couldn't get it before because I could accept the alternative. But even though I can still accept the alternative, I am managing to bring that feeling in there. It is the magic. It really is the magic. Okay, thanks so much for watching. If you don't know anything about me, I'm an author, manifestation coach, self-concept coach, and mindset coach.